We had one heck of a night game here in the Swamp, so let's kick it down next to Kentucky. Gets a big win on the road, 26-16. Credit you, Cousin Shay. You called it. You called the outright upset here, and that's Mark Stoops, brother. Gets my Coach of the Week honors. I mean, all week we were hearing the soft comments. I mean, still, that's ridiculous. Even though I picked Florida to win this game outright, even I said that was the damn dumbest thing I ever heard. Kentucky soft. Yeah. I mean, Kentucky may be lacking in an area or two, but soft just sure as hell ain't that at all. But man, the crowd was fired up just like they were for Utah. Florida had all the momentum in the world. Anthony Richardson, my God, you could tell Kentucky took it personally, all the hype Anthony Richardson was getting, and it was J.J. Weaver. Shane said, we are going to make this cat beat us in the pocket, and he didn't even come close to doing it. They rattled his cage at home once he was off. Then he started throwing. I mean, it was an incredible interception. Jordan Wright, that was one of the plays of the game. And then, of course, the pick six. Florida they basically were done after that. Credit this coaching staff for making second half adjustments, because this was a tight ball game, Shane, going into half, but it was completely dominated by them Kentucky Wildcats in the second half. Will Levis, I thought, man, even I discredited him all offseason, he was taking a beating. He stayed strong, did not flinch. He played one of the best games he's ever played. He redeemed himself. He's played poorly on the road. He played poorly against Florida. My God, he looked like the certain draft pick over Anthony Richardson. Dane Key, the true freshman, incredible touchdown early in the ball game. This was Shane. This was SEC big boy football that you anticipate when it's like Alabama, LSU, or Auburn, LSU. Those types of ball games. But that's what Florida and Kentucky are right now, and clearly Kentucky a far better team, and that was even on the road.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did awards here, Coach. I've got Mark Stoops as well, and assistant coach. I got Mr. White. Ooh. I just think what they dialed up here, man. Here they touted Anthony Richardson as the next Heisman. He has one good game. That's what we do. We overreact, and we're the worst at it, Mike. So I'm not going to act like we're innocent. But the country overreacted and compared them to the Cam Newtons and the Tim Tebow videos coming out. I mean, it was there. It was in play. But this team, Kentucky, did a fantastic job scheming up defense, keeping him contained, making him win with his arm, which he was unable to do. And they were tenacious. They were in his face. They were in everywhere. I mean, sometimes I felt like there was 13 defensive backs back there. They were just all over the place. So that's why I gave him the assistant coach award. And this defense, I tell you what, it was very, very impressive. From week 1 to week 2, development, I think that's why I'm so high on Stoops, is because they didn't run a perfect game week 1, but they corrected their problems. Now, they're still having some problems up front with that offensive line, but what was crazy is at the end of the game, they were able to lean on those with the rushing attack that we didn't think we were going to have a running back, and it turns out we've got a couple of them. So Kentucky looked really good there at the back end of the stretch, and when they get all their pieces together, all the toys to play with, you better watch out. Kentucky's going to be a dangerous program.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Anthony Richardson, 14 of 35 for 130 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And, I don't think Florida fans, Shane, necessarily need to hit the panic button. I think it's just maybe, resetting the expectations that a lot of them had heading into the season. But, this may be oversimplistic, Shane, but I think the season for the Gators is basically going to go like this. We are only going to go as far as Anthony Richardson can take us. And he was only in his third start. So it is funny, Shade Up. See, all week like you said, Cam Newton, Dak Prescott, next Heisman. Yeah. I mean, they kept saying they got the Giants are down here. I don't know who the Giant quarterback is, but by God, you're out, buddy, because they're letting them know The Giants were down there
Yeah.
scouting their next quarterback. Is it going to be Richardson? Is it going to be Will Levis? But clearly, Will Levis, 13 of 24, 202 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
He won the day there. But, back to Anthony Richardson, Shane. Now you're seeing all these people say, well, he's garbage. He can't even throw the ball. He's one of the worst quarterbacks.
No.
You said we overreact. That's what we're doing now that they lost a game. I mean,
Yeah.
either he's Superman or he's Clark Kent. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. But what I'm trying to say, Shane, is, they cannot win a ball game if he plays this poorly. They just, and I think they'll get blown out, frankly, if they do it on the road because they're not going to have all that support. But, I think Anthony Richardson, this is what we're going to get. He may have a game like this against Georgia. He may throw 7 touchdowns against Tennessee. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster. But he just got massive, massive potential. I'm not ready to write Anthony Richardson off, but clearly Saturday was not his day. And Florida, another thing about Florida, Shane, I don't know how much help they really have around him outside of an improving offensive line. They do have a hell of a running back combo in Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne. I love that Etienne kid, but they are lacking at receivers, and I think it showed in this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, they were able to get to Will Levis. I mean, there's some good stuff on the defensive side of the ball. You know, it's not like Kentucky just came out here and blew the Florida Gators out of the water. So, I mean, they were down a lot of this game. This was a tough fought ball game, and I'm not hanging up on Anthony Richardson either. I think he's young. He's a hell of an athlete, and and if this. They're going to need some help, though. It can't just be him and Etienne. We got to have some other players step up. And that's the one reason I think Kentucky won is just total team effort. Not all the departments were working, but the other departments were making up for it. So it felt like this was a total team win from Big Blue Nation, and man, a huge victory. Not just for the scoreboard, but just emotionally, mentally. That people are recognizing that Kentucky is legit, and I know it sounds crazy, because how many 10-win seasons they got to have to, for you to finally consider it, but. Going down on national stage and beating the Florida Gators, people remember that. So, this is 2 times they've done it here in the last little bit. Yep. So,
and 3 out of 5.
So yeah, and come on, I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it. If you keep messing around, Kentucky, will be the well, I don't want to get too carried away, Mike. Sorry, overreacting. I'm about to do it. I was about jumped on it, about crowned them already, But I do like Coach's comments about jumping the poles.
Oh yeah.
You got to be a tough son of a bee to come into this environment and win, and we all understand that, and we know this team is built that way. We've shown it through the years. That's who we are. We're going to be a tough, hard-nosed football team and win tough games, no matter what they look like. And we may win and we may lose, but by God, we're going to be tough. And we showed that tonight.
Mark, what kind of clicked for the offensive line in the second half?
With being able to be balanced like that, it gave us we were able to lean on them a bit. And I know we weren't just gutting them or anything like that, but just those yards, controlling the clock, moving the football, being able to run the ball for the tough 4, 5, 6 yards, maybe 10 here and there, that kept them more off balance. And, really had the game not played out like that, we maybe had some of our play passes still there because they were committing so hard to the run game. That's what opened some of that stuff up. You do got to protect the edges on the boots and things, and you could tell we had to get 1 or 2 of those cleaned up after the first half.
Motivation. Now that it's over, is there frustration that it feels like you still have to make these kind of statements to get this national respect?
I don't even want to play that. You guys, why don't somebody stand up and say something right? You know what I mean? So I don't even want to make a comment because it'll get thrown back in my face tenfold, and I don't need it. One thing, we're not a soft. I think you can all understand that. We may be a lot of things, but we're not that. In this environment, this place was rocking. They're just coming off a huge win, so, heck, I don't know. We must jump into the top 10, I guess, now, right? I'm just saying. I see other people jumping 20 spots. I mean, well, we.
Probably drop 3.
Yeah.
Speaking of